Hey, real estate investors. Welcome to my Wholesaling Real Estate Masterclass. I'm your teacher, Ryan Kirk. If you don't know me, I'm the founder of 1-888 Cash Offer. It's a Vanity Brand. It's a lead generation tool. And I'm also the co-creator of Flip Logic, basically an all-in-one CRM house flipping app. It's a tool to get your deals done quickly. And that's what we're going to be talking about in this masterclass. That's what we're going to cover. Is one, how to get proof of funds and 100% transactional funding up to $600,000 from me. So everything we're going to go over here, it's all automated in Flip Logic. You can generate unlimited proof of funds letters, and then I back it up with my bank statement. So you're dealing with the private lender directly, a loan committee of one. We're also going to talk about how you can deal partner with me 50-50. That's very different. We're going to talk about the details of that to where I've got a 50% vested interest. So obviously my team and I are going to do much more and be much more involved in getting that deal done, as opposed to just being, a lender on it. We're going to talk about how to brand yourself with the 1-888 Cash Offer brand and how you can launch your website, email, and 1-888 Cash Offer phone number today. We're going to talk about what houses to target, how to find the seller, also known as skip tracing. We're going to talk about how to get sellers calling you by direct mail and ringless voicemail. We're going to talk about the cost benefits and the differences of that. We're going to talk about how to run comps and calculate the after repair value, how to quickly estimate repairs, how to calculate your buy price and your sell price, also known as your wholesale exit price, what you would sell it to a cash rehabber for. We're going to talk about how to negotiate and get sellers to give you their bottom number. We're also going to talk about how to write and submit your cash offers without seeing the property and never overpay. This has never been more applicable than this COVID environment that we're dealing with right now. I loved flipping houses that I've never seen before. We're going to talk about how that's possible and how you can do that from your home office. You may notice I'm here on my boat. This is also my home office here too. So maybe you'll be doing deals from your boat now or one day. We're also going to talk about how to build a cash buyers list and email blast your deals. We're going to talk about how to build a motivated sellers list and take the inbound calls. But first, before we do that, I'll tell you a little bit more about me. Obviously, you can see, I'm on my boat here. I was born in Palm Springs, California. Don't know if any of you have been there, or maybe you've been to Coachella or heard of Coachella, but that's the same area that Palm Springs is in. It's in the same valley here in Southern California. I'm a 5th generation Catalina Islander. My great-great-grandparents came from Kentucky. They moved from back east, and they made it all the way out to Catalina. And then great-great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, great-great-grandparents, great-grandparents, grandparents, parents, me. So, I'm a college dropout, went to UC Santa Cruz for a year, decided that that pace wasn't going to be for me and my personality and what I thought I needed to do in order to, achieve some success in my life and freedom ultimately. And so I dropped out of UC Santa Cruz and got into real estate, which is where I started doing mortgage loans and got my real estate license, and that was in 2005. I then got my broker's license in 2008. For those of you who are wondering, do you need a real estate license in order to flip houses? The answer is no, you absolutely don't. You only need a real estate license when you are representing another party. Nice thing about wholesaling property, and the reason why I prefer that over representing somebody, is because instead of rules or a limited box of compensation that you can negotiate in, which is typically 2 to 5% for real estate commissions, when you tie up a deal and you put it under contract, you literally can make as much as you put it under contract for to as much as you can sell it for. And we're going to talk about that, how to gauge how much you can sell a property for, and then working backwards from that to put it under contract to create your margin or your spread. I wholesaled my first house in 2009. I bought the 1-888 cash offer brand in 2015. I did it for me as a lead generation tool and a branding tool for me. And now I'm making it available to other real estate investors that connect with me here and join up on FlipLogic, because it's a big country and there's more deals than I could possibly do on my own. So this is a way where we can work together and you can leverage the brand for pennies on the dollar for what I bought it for. Again, I'm the co-creator of FlipLogic. So I designed it for me, and that's why I believe it's such a great tool and it works so well, is because we've done many, many deals and we've programmed it with that in mind. So this isn't some software developer who came up with this. This is a real estate investor who came up with it as a solution for his own needs in the real estate investing world and business. And now you get to leverage that. I own 90 rental properties. I'm into mobile home parks, so I have a lot of mobile home pads and rentals, and we can talk more about that, another time. And I've got a couple houses as well. And then I live aboard on a 59-foot boat, which you can see behind me here, Marina Del Rey. It's something I always wanted to do, inspired by my folks who are out traveling right now on their sailboat. And so it inspired me to want to buy a boat and become a liveaboard. So that's what I'm doing. And then it's my plan, my ultimate plan, in this connected world that we live in, to cruise the world with my wife and my pup, Winston, on a 55-foot solar wave. If you don't know what a solar wave is, you can Google it. It's pretty cool. It's basically like the Tesla of a catamaran, which is like a dual hull boat. So it's all electric, all solar, and you can basically cruise the world perpetually without any moving parts on your engine. It's all oilless. There's no moving parts except your props, of course. And it's a very cool time that we're living in. So you can always check that out. So let's jump right into it. Proof of funds at 100% transactional funding. I want to just hit on this right off the top for those of you who are thinking, well, you have limited funds, right? Maybe you've got limited income or limited assets, or maybe your FICO's not so hot, or maybe all those things are great and you're just looking for some extra funding on the side for your deals. Whatever it is, this funding is all about the deal. It's asset-based funding, right? So you can generate unlimited proof of funds letters. They're backed by me. We fund 100% of the purchase price plus the closing costs. So you literally don't have to bring a dime to the deal. You just have to put it under contract, and you're going to need proof of funds in order to submit with your offers. So the seller knows that you have the funds to close, and you can see an example letter of that proof of funds letter that generates in FlipLogic. So you can literally generate that on demand and submit those with your offers up to 600,000. And again, asset-based funding. And the only requirement is that you must have a signed B2C offer from a cash buyer with a non-refundable deposit. So what do I mean by that? So in a transaction, there's an A party, which is the seller, the B party, which is you in the middle, and then the C party, which is the cash buyer. So you need to have, obviously, the deal under contract. We call that your A-B offer. And then you need to have the property under contract to sell, your B2C offer. So if you have a signed offer by a cash buyer for more than what you have it under contract for, and they've seen the property, they like it, they want it, they're willing to wire a non-refundable deposit into escrow, then you're approved. You're approved for our funding. And our funding, we charge 2 points. So we charge 2 points. It's same-day funding. we can add a few extra days in there. We have a funding fee schedule that you can find in FlipLogic where you generate proof of funds letters. So we've got a funding fee schedule up to 30 days, but really this is really just for short term, buy as is, sell as is, same day or next day, couple day funding. So that's what this is for. And then you keep 100% of the profits. I just take 2 points out of the deal. So how about that? So you could be making, $20,000 margin. I just take my 2 points from the loan amount funded. Okay. So let's talk about 50-50 deal partnering and how that's different than just proof of funds or funding. So with 50-50 deal partnering, again, you're still bringing the deal. It's got to be under contract. And again, we'll fund 100% of the purchase price plus closing costs up to $600,000. We'll fund 100% of the earnest money deposit in this case. So earnest money deposits can be anywhere from $1 to up to 3% of the purchase price if you're doing it through like a traditional realtor. They usually like to see 3%. But the deposit's completely negotiable. A majority of the time, I like to negotiate, $500, $1,000, $5,000. I try to keep it to 1% of the purchase price or less. So if it was a $500,000 property, 1% would be $5,000. So we'll fund 100% of the earnest money deposit if we're deal partnering up to 1% of the purchase price. So it's nice, and if you're stuck in a spot where you don't have the deposit to put up for the deal, we'll cover that. We also assign a transaction manager to help out with the transaction. So for things like opening title and escrow, marketing the deal to cash buyers. Maybe you have a weak buyers list, or maybe you're not as familiar with wholesaling. Maybe you've rehabbed a few deals, but you've never wholesaled a deal, or maybe this is your first deal. So while we're going to show you how to build your cash buyers list and how to market the deal, we'll also do the same. So we're kind of both pulling on the same end of the rope, so to speak. We'll also help negotiate terms with the buyers. As the deal is email blasted out, buyers go look at the property. Everybody comes up with a different price, or some people, they just want to take it. Some people want to beat the price down. We'll help make sure that the deal is negotiated so we get the highest sales price possible for the property. We'll also help renegotiate with the seller if needed to close the deal. Maybe you put the deal under contract for, maybe you overestimated the ARV, maybe you underestimated the repairs. Buyer comes in and offers a price. Maybe 3 buyers come in, they offer about the same price. So that maybe you messed up on the numbers, and everybody's offering less than what you put it under contract for. We can help you with that. If we're deal partnering on the deal, we can help renegotiate that deal to get a price reduction. Doesn't mean we'll get it, but we've been in that scenario many, many times to where we can provide the facts to the seller for a makes sense, let's get the deal closed, fair deal. And then also we'll be there to answer your questions along the way. So then this way you've got a partner that you can always defer to. If you don't know with the seller or with the cash buyer or with title or with escrow along the way, you can always defer to us as your partner. So obviously in exchange for all this, we have a 50-50 interest in the deal closing. So us having a 50-50 vested interest, we're very interested in the deal closing. So we'll be there for you. And then of course, if we're deal partnering, we're going to waive the 2% funding fee because we're going to make our money on the deal from the 50% interest and, selling the deal. All right. This is so cool. I'm very excited to be able to offer this. The power of vanity branding. So vanity branding gives you the ultimate unfair market advantage. All big brands have the advantage in their market. Branding is so crucial. Vanity branding creates instant recognition, creates credibility, creates memory recall. So your customers, like your sellers who maybe get a phone call from you or get a direct mail piece, or your buyers who get an email from you or an agent or a lender. They will remember you. They will remember you much more so than if you're just Ryan Kirk buys houses. So it's very important. So how does the 1-888 cash offer brand accomplish that exactly? Why is it the ultimate unfair market advantage? Well, it's proven. This is some statistics that I pulled from 800response.com. 75.4% of people have a higher recall rate of Vanity 800 numbers. Consumers have a 57.6% average higher recall rate of Vanity 800 numbers over URLs. So that's good, instead of just being like a RyanKirkBuysHouses.com. Your 1-888 cash offer. So they'll remember the phone number. It's also the website. So that's a two-edged sword there. And then, of course, 57% of people prefer to dial a Vanity 800 number. So they probably find that there's more credibility there with an 800 number because they're dealing with a bigger company. So here's a case study of using the Vanity brand. I think it's the first case study with it, and it's actually my case study. This was the first deal I did using it. So this goes to show you how truly powerful the 1-888 cash offer brand is when you put it to practice in your business. So shortly after I registered the 800 number, I bought it. I ported it, transferred it over. Same with all the website and the email and all that stuff. So shortly after I did that and I did some marketing, I received a call from a motivated seller who was ready to sell 4 properties he inherited in Newport Beach, California. So this was from a direct mail campaign that I did with the Vanity brand on it. And you'll see those proven pieces and you'll have access to them. And I'll show you that here later on in the class. So 2 of the properties he wanted to sell immediately because they were fixers and they had problem tenants. So after the second transaction closed, because I did 2 deals with them, the seller later called me and said, I know you're going to make some money on these properties, but I wanted to thank you for making these transactions so easy. I got to move this. This is in the way. So easy on my family and I during this stressful time. So, so that was the conversation that I had with the seller on these 2 properties. He had 4, only ended up doing 2. I'm not sure what he did with the other 2. I think he ended up holding on to them. So that's what happened there. And then here's a case study of that where you can see the address and you can see the lead type, the origin, property condition. And just so you know, this case study, I narrate 45 case studies. This is one of the case studies, and they're all in the classroom. So they're all in the FlipLogic classroom. You can watch the case studies one by one to get a better understanding of how these deals flow. And that's one of them. So, and you can look at the profit that I made on this deal. I mean, this was a great deal. So this brand, this works with everything from your low end, just your entry level single family homes to your higher end homes. I mean, this brand is powerful. It works. So I hope you use it. This is how you can get your own Vanity brand. And it's not just a brand, but it's a lead funnel, right? Because the website is a funnel into your pipeline here in FlipLogic. So you get the 1-888cashoffer.com/your name. You get to pick that out when you sign up for FlipLogic. You also get your own personal extension. So that gets assigned to you. So you may be 1-888 cash offer extension 205. And if that's the case, then you can set up in FlipLogic under the settings where those calls are forwarded to. So maybe they're forwarded to your cell phone. Maybe they're forwarded to a Google phone number, and you forward that to someone on your team. Wherever you want the calls forwarded to, you can put that in your settings at FlipLogic. So we'll show you how to get that set up. and then your name at 1-888-CASH-OFFER.com. So you get your own email extension. So, and on that website, there's a testimonial video from one of our customers. So that shows up on your website. I mean, that's powerful. When somebody goes to your website and they're deciding whether to input their information to, for you to call them, you're going to watch that testimonial video, and there's going to be no doubt about it that you're somebody who can get the job done. You're somebody who can buy that house from them. So very powerful stuff, all done for you. If you've already signed up for Flip Logic and you're a gold member, then literally you can launch all of this in the next 20 minutes, and you'll be up, ready to go, and in business. So once you've got all of that working for you, you've got proof of funds. So you've got the money, you've got the ability to submit proof of funds with your offers. You're branded, you've got your website, got your email, you're ready to go. What houses do you target? Well, I think that the easiest houses to target, the easiest properties, the lowest hanging fruit in real estate, it's going to be single family homes. So single family homes, we're talking fixers, junkers, right? But in good neighborhoods. So neighborhoods, typically good neighborhoods are going to be neighborhoods where it's in a good school district. Also another thing is where there's no crime happening during the day. It's a good neighborhood, and you can also tell based off the comps in the neighborhood how quickly are homes selling. Are they selling every 30 days, every 60 days? That's a good, healthy market. You want to see good, healthy turnover. So you want good neighborhoods where families are going to buy and live. So not renter neighborhoods, but those are different. You really want neighborhoods with a lot of owner occupants, because those are good neighborhoods to target. For sale by owner or off market with no realtor or wholesaler in between. So I would not go to the MLS and start making offers on the MLS. You really want to go where the competition is not, and that's off market. So later on in your career, if you want to go to the MLS, you can, but there's more red tape, there's more competition. They're going to want higher deposits. They're going to want, maybe sometimes they're going to want your track record of homes that you've rehabbed and you've flipped. So it's not a good place for somebody who's just getting started to go, because realtors, they don't like working with new wholesalers, and you don't want to get lost in the shuffle too with all the other offers coming in. And not be as competitive because they may be getting multiple higher offers from other rehabbers. So stick with for sale by owner and off-market deals. And then we're looking for motivated sellers who need to sell, not want to sell, but need to sell. And there's going to be some motivation there. And we're going to talk about it later in the class, how to discover this motivation. But you want to know if why are they selling? Is maybe there's a vacancy, or maybe there's some sort of inheritance. Out-of-state heirs are the greatest. Those are some of the best deals you can do, where they don't live near the property and they inherited it. So it's an absentee-owned property. Those are some of the best deals you can do out there. Some of the easiest low-hanging fruit with the best margins. Job transfer is another reason. Burned out landlords. Pre-foreclosure, job loss. There's a lot of that going on right now, isn't there? And I think there's going to be a foreclosure boom. We're just way overdue for one. The market's been hot and expanding and appreciating for 12 years now, the longest economic expansion I think in history, if not our lifetime. And what goes up must come down. So right now, I think the stage is being set for lots of foreclosures, and we already have lots of job loss. So failing health, death, which is also known as probate. You get a lot of probate leads. I actually just was awarded a probate deal that we'll be closing on as soon as the court order is issued, so within the next 30 days. But probates are great. Move to a new house, that happens. Military transfer, expired listings, and divorce. So as far as the physical characteristics, we're looking for stuff that's about 850 square feet and larger. Bedrooms and baths, there's no question that 3.2s will sell faster than a 3.1 or a 4.1. If there are extra bedrooms, like a 4.1, look where you can convert, one to a bathroom, because a 3.2 is going to comp out and be much more valuable and desirable and sellable than a 4.1. And you don't really see 4.1s very often, but you'll see 2.2s, you'll see 2.1s. But if there's a large, and I'm dealing with a deal with like this right now, but if there's a large 2-bedroom, 2-bath of about 1,200 living square feet, it's funny, the deal is 1,292 square feet. But look where you can create a 3rd bedroom within that floor plan. So we didn't, I haven't walked through the property, but we know that if it's a 2.2, there's 1,200 square feet, and it's 1,292 square feet, that there is a way to squeeze another 3rd bedroom in there to make it a 3.2. And we already ran the comps, but just by doing that, it's going to take our ARV from 610 to 685. So this is Los Angeles, but that's a big difference in value, isn't it? So that's how you can squeeze more dollars out of the deal, by looking to where you can improve the configuration of the property. So you can buy it based off it being a 2.2, right? You can get the 2.2 discount, but when you go to resell it to an investor, you can price it and comp it out with an ARV of a 3.2, because that'll be, in the repair budget. And we're going to talk more about that, how to estimate repairs, and by increasing the repair budget, your numbers will all play out. I'll show you how that happens in Flip Logic, to where you can squeeze more money out of the deal. All right. So continuing on, house's target listing status. So again, for sale with a realtor, I put good on here, but you really want to stay away from that stuff. You really want to go with for sale by owner, which is better, and off market is the best. It is absolutely the best, because you have no competition, and it gives you the ability to create larger margins, because when you're negotiating, they're not using, I have another offer to pit you against. Yes, you can. There's still ways to overcome that, of course, but off market is definitely the best, because you don't want to be competing against rehabbers who are in a hot market where they're offering so much more than you can pay when you're trying to create a wholesale margin. Condition of the property. If it's upgraded, there's no value to be added. So there's not going to be a cash discount you're going to be able to get, right? Maybe you can work as some sort of seller financing deal. We're not going to talk about that in this masterclass. We really want to focus on cosmetic fixtures, hopefully more than just paint and carpet. Again, that's much better than an upgraded property, but you really, the junkier, the better, because the more value add there is, the more you can justify the discount on the price, right? So, and then obviously if there's structural issues, that's best. Nothing that's super heavy, it's falling off a hillside or something, but some foundation issues are fine. Roof, and then you can run into things like plumbing or electrical, but you really want the deal to have value add, is the best way I can put it, because it justifies a cash offer and it justifies a discount. Neighborhoods, again, no war zones, no criminal activity during the day, good neighborhoods only. And then look at the sale or price history. Was it sold within the last 2 years? If so, there may not be much equity in the deal, right? If it hasn't sold within the last 5 years, that's better. If it hasn't sold within the last 10 years, that's the best, because again, it's given time for the property to deteriorate, right? Deferred maintenance, and then also for the mortgage to be paid down and appreciation to occur. So those are your best criteria, and we'll talk about that more as we move on. So let's talk about how to research a house. You can research a house right in FlipLogic, and FlipLogic makes it so easy because, and I screwed up here with blacking out the phone number on this one. We'll talk about that more in a minute. But over here on the right-hand side, step 1, research, and that's what's nice about FlipLogic. It also gives you steps as reminders of what you should do next with the deal to move it to closing. So you can research it on Zillow, and you can do that just by clicking the link. It's good to research it on Zillow because there may be photos on Zillow. You never know. So you can do that. And then also the other way to research it is just click on the public record. You can see up here the public record tab, and you'll be able to scroll down and you can see all of the public records that the property has. So you'll be able to see who the owner is, if they live at the property, or if they have another mailing address. And we'll talk about how you can find the seller here in just a second. So, but before we do that, I'm going to play a short video for you guys on how you can add your properties into FlipLogic, where all the information will populate for you just by putting in the address. So whether it's one property or dozens of properties, you can add them in there, and it'll populate all the information for you, and you'll stay organized.
Hello, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to be showing you how to add leads. So here we have new leads and imported leads. So I'm going to go ahead and select Add New Lead. This will charge 1 credit. I'm just going to go ahead and type in this address. And be sure to select this drop-down tab right here so the geotag can locate the property. Select Add New Lead. Okay, it says duplicate lead is in there. I'm going to go ahead and add it in anyways for the sake of the video. Okay. And it'll bring up this little detailed record about the lead. It'll put in some information on it, pulled from public record. And then to locate this lead, you'll go to your pipeline, new leads area, and it'll be right there. An alternative way to find these leads as well is to come up here to the search bar and then type in the numerical of the address, and you can select search everything, and it'll bring up all the results. If it's located in the new leads area, imported leads, offer submitted, anywhere within the website here. Okay, an alternative way to add leads is to go to the import leads function. So we can just go ahead up top, and then you can either click to upload or drag and drop. So I'm going to go ahead and go to my documents area. So here's the list that I want to input. I'm going to go ahead and select it. It would charge 2 credits. So yes. And then here's the autofill function here. We have the street address, the city, state, and zip. All of these need to be matching to the site address, and make sure they're not selected under the mail or the lead may not be added in correctly. The seller's full name will be in there. So we'll go to lead type, and we're going to go ahead and put it in as, we're going to input it in as an other. And the next, we'll put it in as a data import. Then we're just going to select import. And we're going to add these in for the sake of the video anyways. So if there's duplicates in here, you don't need to add them. You just go back to your pipeline and pull them up that way. We'll select save. And here they are on the data import, data added for the new leads that I just selected. Be sure the files are saved as a .csv, and I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up here real quick so you guys can have a look at what the headers and everything look like on this. Okay. So here's the information. The site address and the mail address are the same on this lead, but they may not always be the same. So be sure to check for that. Okay. Also, when you import, you can also follow the lead import example here. Please let us know if you have any other questions, and stay tuned for our next video.
All right. Pretty cool. So that's how you can add your leads and then start researching them, and obviously stay organized with them in your pipeline and change the status on them as they move through your pipeline. Next, we're going to talk about how to find the seller, right? Maybe there's that vacant house you've driven by many times in your neighborhood on the way to work or on the way to school or whatever it is. But once you add that lead in the flip logic, you need to skip trace the homeowner so you can get a hold of them and start talking about how you're interested in buying it, right? So let's play that short video on how to do that.
Hi, my name's James Utterback, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to skip trace a lead. So here we have the dashboard. What we can do here is we can go to skip trace. We can load our file here, but for now, I'm going to go ahead and show you an individual skip trace. See the other video for mass skip tracing. So I'm going to go to my new leads, click on my lead, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over to this lead here, and I'm going to go ahead and skip trace. And you can see it's up here in the top right-hand corner, just above the geolocation on the Google map. So I'm going to go ahead and skip trace the owner. So I have his name here pulled from the public record tab, and I want his phone number. So I'm going to go ahead and select skip trace phone number. It's going to charge me 1 credit out of my account. So I'm going to go ahead and select yes, and then save. So here it shows up right here. You can also skip trace the email, but phone number is the best point of contact to try and reach out to the homeowner. All right, please see our next video on how to do an RVM blast or other alternative methods to marketing to this seller. Thanks, and have a good day.
How easy is that?
Hi, my name's...
So literally click of the button, and you're only going to be charged a credit if it successfully locates a phone number, and same thing if it successfully locates an email. So that's simple. And then I'm going to show you how to instantly send a postcard or letter to a homeowner through just a click of a button there, right where we were at, because perhaps maybe it didn't find a phone number. You still want to get a hold of the seller, right? It still looks like a good property for you to make an offer on. So this will show you how to get the seller to call you. So let's watch this short video.
Hi, my name's James Utterback, and I'll be going through and showing you how to send out a mailer. So here we have our lead in the public record. We have the site address and the mailing address. We'll go ahead and go back over here to the property details. And as we scroll down, we'll go over to send mailer. And then we can choose between a postcard and a letter. The difference is the postcard's going to be a little bit cheaper. The letter's going to have a nice manila envelope with a handwritten address on there. So we'll go ahead and select the postcard. And as you can see here, it's got my name and information already filled in. You can change yours by selecting the Edit Details button. But for now, we'll go ahead and create the postcard.
I do want to just
And
say real quickly
there it is.
that all of that information populates with your information from your settings. So whatever's in your settings, that's what's going to populate in there. So it'll be customized to you.
You just have 2 postcards going out to the mailing address and the site address, and then it'll be delivered in 4 to 6 days, and then it will deduct credits from your balance. And that should do it. Thanks. Have a good one.
So how cool is that? Pretty simple, right? So
Hi, my name's
just a click of a button, you can have a postcard in the mail and on the way to the homeowner. So now let's talk about deal analysis, right? So we know what properties we want to target. We know how to get the seller to call us, or how to find the seller so we can call them. But we need to understand how to analyze the deal or underwrite it so we can make the offer. So this is how to run comps. So when we're dealing with comps, distance is super important, right? Within 1 mile is good. Within that same subdivision, that's better. And then on the same street, no question about it, that's the best. How long ago did the comp sell? So 6 to 12 months is good. And this is based off of what appraisers are going to use as well. 90 days is better, 30 days is best. So the most recent sales, especially in a changing market like this, you really want those comps as recent as possible. Investors, everybody's going to be looking at the most recent sale, maybe even more so than if it was on the same street. They're really going to want to see that it recently sold and what the market's doing in that neighborhood, what the demand is. How similar in size and amenities? So square feet. The square feet needs to be within about 20% of the subject property. So if it was a 1,000 square foot home that you're looking at, you want your comps to be no smaller than 800 square feet, and you want them to be no larger than 1,200 square feet. So about 20% or about 200 square feet in difference. And Flip Logic, and I'm going to show you here shortly, but Flip Logic does all of this. It breaks all this stuff down for you, and it runs comps automatically for you to, and it'll give you some suggestions on which ones are best, and then you can choose further from there. But as far as like beds baths goes, you really want the bed baths to be within, plus or minus 1. So again, really the best comps are going to be, you want to compare 3.2s to 3.2s. You don't want to compare a 2.2 to a 3.2, but sometimes, you have what you have. So you really want to keep those bed baths about plus or minus 1 in similarity to your subject property. Age, you want age to be pretty similar, pretty close, maybe within, 10 years, 20 years. Style, you really want it to be the same style. Different styles can differ dramatically. An example would be a single level ranch home versus a 2-story Mediterranean home. You can't comp those. Those are going to have 2 different values. I mean, those are 2 different types of buyers. They're just 2 different types of values. Construction, you really want it to be the same construction. And this really, why this all kind of comes back to same subdivisions, which is better than just within a mile, because you're most likely to have very similar styles in construction. So, and you can confirm this stuff with street views. Pools add value in California. It may, you'll have to check the comps and see. I believe pools add value in a lot of places. I mean, it's definitely a $30,000 value add in California, because that's about the cost to put in a pool. You can have pools dug, cemented, put in for about $30,000, at least last time I checked. Maybe that figure's gone up a bit. It also depends on the area. And then condition, standard sales with upgrades. Let me go back to that really quick. So standard sales with upgrades, you really want properties that have sold in their highest and best condition, that have been upgraded or remodeled. You don't want to take an as is, cash fixer sale and put that on your comps, because it's going to bring the ARV down. So you want to put comps on there that are, again, in their highest and best condition, to support the ARV and support the target of what you want the property to be, what you want it to be valued at as far as ARV goes. So how to choose comps. Again, Flip Logic helps you with a lot of this, but you still need to understand this stuff pretty well so you can decisively make choices. Now, how to choose comps. So you want to research the comp's condition, as we just spoke about, any amenities, location, sale date, style, age. Is it similar and in the highest and best condition? Be aware of the subject property, location, and street. Do not cross major boundaries. All right, major boundaries. So maybe a comp is within a mile, but it's on the other side of a freeway. How different is that neighborhood versus the neighborhood that the subject property is in? Sometimes a freeway can be a major boundary divide, and they can be two completely different neighborhoods. Sometimes, a lot of times, it doesn't even have to be a freeway. It can be across a boulevard. So you need to be very cognitive of that. If you jump a major boundary, that it's a very similar style neighborhood, because values can vary quite a bit, and the feel of a neighborhood can vary quite a bit when you jump those boundaries. So it's best not to cross boundaries. Eliminate comps that are not similar. Adjust for the differences like an appraiser would. Pool view, lot size, age, bed bath count. And this is for no similar comps. I was wondering why it was a bullet point there. So if you don't have any similar comps, you're going to have to make some adjustments. So again, maybe the comp has a pool and your subject doesn't. So that comp is probably going to sell for more. It could be selling for $30,000 more. So you're going to want to adjust your ARV for that. So maybe you're going to want to adjust the ARV, by reducing it $30,000 versus that comp. Same thing with a view. You really don't want to comp out a property with a view versus your subject that doesn't have a view. It's just so different in value. It can be sometimes hard to quantify. So you may not want to do that. You may not want to put a comp, a view comp versus a non-view comp, because that could be tough. Lot size, you have to adjust a little bit. If your lot size is smaller, then you got to take some money off your ARV. If your lot size is bigger, you can add on some value to the ARV. Again, it can be very tough. You just kind of have to get a feel for it. Hopefully you've got other comps there that are so similar that you'll be able to do that. If not, then you just kind of have to use your best judgment. Same with age, and same with bed bath count. So again, it's a very tricky thing to do. There's not just like a clear answer for that. You'll have to give one way or another for those adjustments if you don't have similar apples to apples comps. Okay, so let's play another short video on how you can run comps and calculate your ARV right within Flip Logic.
My name is James Utterback, and I'll be showing you how to pull comparable properties. So here we have our address and all the specs on the home. We'll come up here to our comps tab, click on that. It'll take us to our comps section. Here's the home on a map. What we'll do next is push this fetch tabs comparable. It'll auto fetch recent sales in the area and select the 3 best comparable properties. Be sure to double check them with pictures and recent price history on sales to check and see if any of them were flipped recently. It'll then compare bed, baths, square footage, lot size, year built, when it was sold, and for how much. The ARV is estimated based on the average of those sales. What you can do next is you can zoom in here just to check and see what the distance is on those sales. If there's any other sales in the area that you'd like to add via Redfin or Zillow, scroll down to the bottom, click the Add Property, and then type in what the address is, or copy paste. Be sure to select the correct one, and it'll autofill everything for you. Once it's been added in right here, be sure to click the checkbox so it can be found on the map. As you can see, it's been filled in right here. If you need to refetch the comps, please click this green refresh button. It'll automatically refresh the comps and fill in the comps section in which you may have removed other comparables. You can remove comparables by pushing the X button. If you have any other questions, feel free to let us know.
All right.
My name's James Utterback.
I'll say one thing he left off is as far as the ARV goes, it's automatically calculated, and you'll notice it says it right up here, ARV. That's an average of the selected comps. When you do the check mark to the left of the comp, all the comps that you select will average all of those together by the price per square foot. So it'll take the average price per square foot that those have sold for, and it'll multiply it by your subject property square footage. So that ARV there, that's the average of your comps. So based off price per square foot sold. So that's why it's so important that when you choose comps, you're choosing comps that are very close in square footage to your subject property, very close in size, no smaller than no larger than a 200 square foot variance. And in their highest and best condition. You want to make sure you're choosing comps that are upgraded, are in good condition, and sold for their highest and at the highest and best condition that they could be in. And you really only need about 3 comps is what you're looking for to come up with a good supported ARV for your property, because this will generate into a report. So all this work that you're doing, generating comps and coming up with an analysis, you'll be able to turn these into reports that you'll be able to include in your email blast to cash buyers. So let's move on and talk about how to estimate repairs to finish rounding off our deal analysis. Because once you have an ARV, once you have a repair cost estimate, then the formulas within Flip Logic can go to work to come up with your buy price and your sell price. So how to estimate your repairs. So you want to determine the square footage by the public record. So that auto-populates in Flip Logic, as you've seen. There can be missing square footage from add-ons. So that's not uncommon. It's not uncommon for there to be an addition that maybe it's permitted, maybe it's not permitted. Maybe it was, I've got a deal in escrow right now where it's got an 800 square foot detached building that can be used and, can be improved and turned into an additional dwelling unit. But that 800 square feet, there is permit history, but it was permitted through the county. It's in the I think it was built. Well, for whatever reason, the city does not see the permits, but the county does have the permits. So it's a permitted structure, but it's not on the public record. So we're getting a property that on title shows, on the public record shows 1,000 square feet, but it's really 1,800 square feet. So when it's permitted like that, I mean, man, that's a score. If it's not permitted, then there are ways to get it permitted. There's a process to go through for that if the structure is, if it's was done to good workmanlike specs, there's a process to do that, and if it's worth doing. So, but check the public record. And it's also good. You could also check, you could do a Google Earth, and there's a measurement that you can do to measure the four sides. And you can do that and multiply it out and see if there's anything odd or missing there. But check the public record. Determine a condition multiplier. So condition multiplier, that's where you take the square footage and you times it by a multiplier, like you see below. The good, bad, awful, or maybe if you're adding square footage. So I'll show you how that works to come up with a repair estimate. So this is a quick way to come up with a repair budget without having to go out and walk the property or get a bid from a contractor. All right, and you can do this just by looking at the street view in FlipLogic. You can hit the button and it'll go from the aerial to a street view, or it'll go from the map view to an actual satellite aerial. So you can do the street view, online photos if there are any. You can discuss the condition with the seller, and you can ask the seller for photos. So you can do all of these things to come up with a condition multiplier. And then you can also assume worst case scenario if you can't get any photos from the seller, or if they're just telling you it's in awful shape and you just want to desktop underwrite it with the worst condition, right? So you can work it that way. So if it's in good shape, meaning, it's just a basic rehab, kitchen, bath, paint, flooring, fixtures, minor plumbing, minor electrical, minor landscape, then you can use a $10 to $20 per square foot. Now, this is also going to depend on your area and what type of home this is. Like, you're not going to be able to use $10 to $20 a square foot on, a higher end home. This is more of like your entry level type home, right? So that's good. So bad would be, $15 to $30 a square foot. So that's all of the above, plus like an electrical panel, the HVAC unit needs to be replaced, maybe your roof, major wall repairs, moving some walls around, more landscape. And then awful is going to be all of the above, plus windows, siding, foundation issues, structural issues, major wood rotting, rewire, replumbing, major landscape. So you can see that there's a pretty big range with these. To kind of give you a better idea, like in my area, Southern California, let's talk like a median priced home. Like, $400,000, $300,000 to $500,000 for a home. And let's say it's 1,500 square feet. It's kind of a 3-bed, 2-bath. That's kind of a bread and butter style home, right? Maybe in most locations. So 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,500 square feet. That needs a full remodel plus a new roof. That's going to run you about $35 a square foot. All right, so about $35 a square foot. If you took $35, I'm going to break out my calculator here on my phone. So if I took 1,500 square feet and I times that by $35, that gives me $52,500. All right, so $52,500. So that would be the repair budget for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square foot home needing a full rehab plus a new roof. So it kind of gives you an idea. If it needed less than that, then obviously we wouldn't be talking about $35. We would be talking, maybe closer to the, 30 or 25, or that closer to that range. But I think for probably most of the homes you're going to run into where they need everything, you'll find $35 a square foot is a pretty safe number to do that. And so you can at least desktop underwrite, put the deal under contract based on that. And then during your refundable inspection period, if you discover or your cash buyer discovers that the budget was too low because, I don't know, maybe there's a foundation issue, or maybe there's more things there that came up. I don't know, a septic or something that came up that caused the budget to increase, well, then that's when you can, again, renegotiate with the seller and address that point. Hey, Mr. Seller, we were a little light going into the deal on our repair budgets because of this or this or this, what we found. So we're going to need to adjust that into our price. If we can agree to whatever this price, which is X amount of dollars off our initial offer, we're ready to go, non-refundable, non-contingent, we're ready to move forward and close this deal on time. So not the end of the world if you're off on your numbers, because that's just the way it goes. So I'm going to show you how you can quickly calculate your repair cost.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'll be teaching you how to analyze a property. So here we have the property address and put it into the lead. Go up here to our analyze function, click on that, pull on down, and we have our set ARV and repair costs and any other details in the form. So the best way to determine repair costs is by looking at the pictures. So here we'll just go up to the pictures, take a look. Looks like to be a nice exterior photo. Doesn't look like it'll need much on the exterior. We'll go ahead and go through these photos. It's a nice side view, a little bit closer up of the wall. Looks good. Another picture. That garage looks pretty good. May not need to be replaced. Go to the next picture. It's a street view. Looks like to be a nice quiet street. Go up to the next one. Another street view. Very good. The only issue is there's no interior photos. So how do we determine what the repair costs will be? There's a nice repair guide over here that'll tell us good, bad, or awful. Since we have no pictures of the interior, we have to go with awful. And the happy medium for this one would be $35 a square foot due to the area. Each area will be a little different, just to keep that in mind. So we'll go ahead and put in here 35 and then click and it'll autofill. Since it's an 82775 number, I like to deal with round numbers. We'll go ahead and replace that with 83,000. Click and it'll fill in and calculate everything for you as you pull down. As you can see here, hold time for 4 months factors into the calculations of what you need to offer, which is right here. This 333 number here is what we would need to sell it for an investor. If you have any other questions, feel free to let us know.
And I'm going to give you a little more context on that. So obviously the algorithms, it defaults for a 4-month hold time. Usually rehab could be 30 days, 30 days of marketing time, and then maybe another 30 days for the deal to close, right? So that's 90 days or 3 months. We put in 4 months there. We just defaulted for that. Some deals they rehab and they sell and they close in 2 months. Some deals, 3 months. We just put 4 in there to be a little more on the conservative side. And then you'll also notice that there was a financing in there. We put an 80% loan to cost and 80% for the purchase and the repairs. It's just a budget. A lot of cash buyers, they don't necessarily close with cash. They close with hard money, right? And they'll typically put down 10% or 15% or 20%. And they'll get either a 90% loan to cost or 85% loan to cost or 80% loan to cost. And then they'll get a 100% rehab covered in their hard money loan. So 80% is a fair financing or leverage number to put in there. So that's what we have defaulted in there with the 10% interest rate. So, does everybody, pay 10% on hard money? No, some people pay 6%, 7%, 8%. Maybe they pay a point, maybe 2 points. Again, it's a good line item budget that'll show up in the pro forma and calculates into the numbers. So at least that's there. So it gets us pretty close to our numbers on our buy and sell price. So we can determine, percentages, ROIs, which we're going to talk about right now, which is selling to a cash buyer, right? What formula do you use? What are cash buyers looking for? So how we have it, and we'll go back to some slides here and I'll show you guys what it looks like in FlipLogic. But we have a max rehab price in there, which is also known as the wholesale exit price, because the maximum price that a rehabber is willing to pay, that's the price you're going to be able to wholesale or sell the deal at. So that's going to be your exit if you're wholesaling, right? So that number is going to vary. Our algorithms move around, and it's based on the ARV. I'll give you an example. An ARV in California here, let's say a medium price home is $500,000. If your ARV is $500,000, you're not going to be able to. Let me put it this way: a cash buyer would be willing to pay, cash buyer, rehabber getting a hard money loan, whatever, they would be willing to pay about 83% of the ARV minus the repairs. Why are they willing to pay a higher price than maybe a $200,000 house or $150,000 house somewhere else? Well, because there's more dollars in it. So they're going to get a smaller return because they're paying more. So their ROI is going to shrink closer to like a 10% ROI. But the amount of dollars that they're going to make, 10% on 500,000, you're going to make $50,000 on that rehab. So they're willing to do that. And then they're going to leverage anyways. Most likely they'll put, again, 10 to 20% down and get a loan. So that's how that all factors in. Again, with a smaller ARV house, that's why the formula is going to be much smaller. An ARV, a percentage on that, rehabbers or cash buyers, they're going to want to buy closer to 70% of the ARV minus repairs, which is going to give them a higher ROI, but the dollars are going to be about the same, maybe a little less, right? Again, that $200,000 house, 23% on 200,000, that's probably going to be closer to, I'd have to look and see what that would be. So that'd be closer to $46,000. So the numbers move around that way. So reverse engineering off of that, then what would we offer? What would our offer be? What would we buy the property at? Well, we always start with an initial cash offer, because with any negotiation, you always want to start low and give yourself room to come up. So your initial cash offer is going to be a 10% profit margin below what you would sell it at. So 10% below the max rehab price, right? 10% below your exit. And then that gives you room to come up to a max cash offer, which can be, anywhere from 5 to 3%. So it just depends how your negotiation goes and how small of a margin you're willing to work with or accept on putting a deal together. So in this next slide, this will give you a more detailed look at that. And again, all this stuff, it's programmed into FlipLogic. This is just for your benefit to better understand and comprehend the algorithms that are at work. But you can see here, if an ARV is 0 to 250,000, it's working off of these numbers here that you're seeing here. And again, when you're in FlipLogic, you can always tweak and turn the numbers based off of what you're getting familiar with in your market as you're talking to cash buyers, understanding what kind of an ROI or what kind of a profit margin they're looking for. Then once FlipLogic calculates and comes up with that stuff, you can just simply tweak the ROI or tweak the net rehab profit margin, and then it's going to tell you, okay, this is now your max rehab price. So this is your max cash offer. This is your initial cash offer. So these are these numbers here. You can always look back at this slide if you like, but let's show you what it looks like in FlipLogic. So you may remember this screen under the Analyze tab. Once your ARV is in there and your repair costs are in there, you can just do that by putting in a price per square foot. You'll notice the new construction cost per square foot. That's if you're doing an add-on. You may remember that from our cost per square foot multiplier slide. It's also in the repair cost guidelines up here. So if you're going to add new square footage, and that's more of an advanced thing, but you can, between the property details where you put in that new square footage, then you can put in your price per square foot multiplier for that, and that'll calculate that out. But as we're looking to max rehab price, you can see in this scenario, the max rehab price is $417,000, which is 83% of the ARV minus repairs. It creates a $60,000 net rehab profit and a 10% ROI in 4 months. That's a 30% annualized ROI. So you can see how that works. So based off of that, you would want to initially offer around $365,000. Again, it's just a guideline, but that gives you close to a 10% profit margin. You can see it's a big dollar margin. And then your max cash offer would be $390,000, which is about a 3%. That's about a 4% profit margin. So not quite the 5. And again, it's a sliding scale. Maybe you can't get the seller to take $390 because psychologically, 400 puts a 4 in front of it. So maybe you offer $400. Can you pay $400? Well, yeah, you still have a $17,000 margin there. That's a deal where maybe you couldn't fund it because there's not going to be, we could fund it. It's going to get a little thin, but maybe that's a deal that you're going to assign and not have any closing costs or funding piece in there. So you can always assign the deal. Maybe we're a deal partner and we're going to help you assign the deal. So that's something that can be done as well to save costs that way. I know I'm kind of giving you a little trick of the trade there. Assignments aren't a new thing. We do them all the time when we're deal partnering, because if the contract's assignable, we can assign it and it saves closing costs, which increases the margin, puts more money in your pocket and ours. So we're totally fine with you doing assignments using our proof of funds to get your deals under contract, whether we're a deal partner or not. We're here to support you and your business. But we hope to fund your deals. But if not, we're glad that you're part of our system and that you're getting deals done. Negotiation. Let's talk about negotiation and getting the seller's bottom number. So number one, you always got to build rapport. That's the best thing you can do. Some ideas of how to build rapport is to find out, well, where did they grow up? What area? Maybe you guys share a similarity there. Somebody grew up in Catalina, I'm 5th generation Catalina Islander. Oh my gosh. I mean, we have on so many levels we can connect and talk about people we know, or, things that we did, or, things that we saw. So discover their interests. What kind of maybe kids, pets, sports, shows, hobbies, travels. Make a friend and be conversational as you dig for answers. So people do business with people they like and share a rapport with. And then you've got law of reciprocity. So people feel the need to reciprocate when you offer to do something for them. So for me, I always like to see how I can make things easier for them in the deal. What can I do for them? I'd like to pay for all closing costs. Hey, as the buyer of this deal, we'll pay all closing costs. We'll take it as is. If you got junk in there that it's full of, don't worry about it. We'll take care of all of that. You can literally just hand over the keys and just be done with this place. Magic questions. These magic questions have served me so well. These are some key phrases you're going to want to put into your, and there's a script I'm going to show you here next. So don't worry if you don't, remember this right away. I've got a working script in every one of your leads that you can use. And I'll show you that in the next slide. But a magic question: if I paid all cash, paid all closing costs, and closed in 14 days, what's the best price you can do? Always follow that up with, is that the best price you can do? And then pitch your initial offer price. If that does not work, always ask what will work for you. Because a lot of times people, you may say, if I paid all cash, paid all closing costs, close in 14 days, what's the best price you can do? Well, Ryan, I guess I could do 325. Is that really the best price you can do? Well, I mean, to get this done today, I could come down to 315. Okay, well, I ran my numbers, here's what we're at. And in the script, it'll say, we're thinking, all fixed up, we could probably get whatever, 485 for it. We got to put 50,000 into it. Then of course we've got carrying costs, closing costs, and we've got to make a margin for doing the project, right? So it probably is going to put us at 290. If I were to pay 290, is that something that would work for you? And if he said, no, that price wouldn't work for me, I already told you 315. I understand, I heard 315. If 290 won't work for you and I can't do 315, if 290 won't work, then what price would work for you? And then that's how you can get them to come down more. And you say, well, I guess I could come down to 305. So, okay, if I agree to come up to, again, X, right? If I agree to come up to 305, can we wrap this up and move forward today? Yeah, if you can come up to 305, see again, I'm coming up. If you can come up to 305, then yes, we can wrap this up and move forward. Okay, great. So he who says price first loses. So that's why you really want to find out, if you do this for them, pay all cash, paid all closing costs, close in 14 days, what's the best price you can do, Mr. Seller? You want to get that price from them. Is that the best they can do? So if the seller wants you to come up with a number first, again, that's a trap. Don't do that. You really want to get their number first. Again, I've been in situations many times where they gave me a number that was so much lower than what my initial offer was going to be. This doesn't happen on every deal, but there will be deals where they'll give you a number and that number will be less than your initial offer price. So don't say the number first because you don't know what their bottom price is. And of course, a majority of sellers, they give you a number that's too high, right? And then you got to work it down, right? Where they're too high, you're low, and then you guys, come and meet in the middle somewhere. But he who says price first loses. Do not say price first. All right, calling the seller. So you always want to reach a verbal agreement with the seller before submitting a written offer, right? And again, I'm going to show you a script that you can use. It's a dynamic script, and you can use this for, because you really only have 3 lead types: deals that are active on the MLS, which you want to stay away from, deals that are for sale by owner, and deals that are off market. So here's what the script looks like. Here's where it's at. So it's right here in your tabs, in your lead, right? So you've inputted a lead. You can move over to script, and then you can choose from these 3 scripts. One is for dealing with cash buyers. These other 2 are for dealing with cold calling or for sale by owner or realtor property, or cold calling an off-market property, right? And this gives you what to say, and then what questions to ask, and then it's fillable fields. So these fields you can fill in as you're asking your questions. So, you've got the information as you move along. So as you move down the script towards the bottom here, and as you're discovering this information from them, you can input this information on the fly. So if they're telling you it's in terrible condition and it is about 1,500 square feet and it is going to need a new roof, and or they don't know if it's going to need a new roof, but the roof hasn't been done in 35 years and there's a leak and all of that, then you probably know this place needs everything. So maybe you put in $35 a square foot. You clicked the fetch comps. You found a couple of comps as you're building rapport, and you're talking to them, asking them, about the house, about the neighborhood, about the kids, and what the neighborhood's like. and you're discovering all this information as you're going through your script. Well, down here at the bottom, this dynamically fills in from your deal analysis page. So on item number 12, hey, I was looking at the comps while I was on the phone here with you, Mr. Seller. The average price in the area is $635,000. So again, that's the average. It's not like the high end, right? Would you agree that's a fair price? And you may say, yeah, that sounds like maybe it's a little low, or maybe it's a little high, or yeah, that sounds like a fair price. Well, yeah, that's an average for the area. I just ran some comps, so that's definitely the average. And I'm estimating the rehab will be about, in this case, it was 134,000. Based off what you told me, and the 800 square foot structure that's in the back that we're going to have to, completely redo in addition to the house. So would you agree that 134,000 is a pretty fair budget for what the house needs? They may say, yeah, I mean, I have no idea, but that sounds like a number that yeah, for the condition of the house, what it would take. So great. So I'm just spitballing here with you, Mr. Seller. So if we take 635,000 and we take 10% off the top for closing and carrying costs, that's like commissions when I go to resell the property, title, escrow, transfer fees, taxes, insurance, escrow, that leaves about 90% once we take that 10% off the top. So 635,000 times 90% is 571,500. Are you with me? Yes, I'm with you. Okay, then if I subtract out our rehab budget, which is 134,000 for total repair costs, you're left with 437,100. Are you with me? Okay. Then, obviously, for the time, the risk in doing the project, I've got to make a return on the investment. So if I subtract out an ROI, that's going to put me at about $346,000, $346,440, $346,440, and I can send the offer over now, and we can open escrow today. Will that work for you? And if he says, I see how you got to that number, but that's less than what I was hoping for, Ryan. Okay. All right. Well, if not, what number would work for you? And he may say, well, if you can come up to, maybe he says, 375, we've got a deal. And I can say, 375. I'm looking at my underwriting here. Here's what I can do. If I come up to 372, 720, I know that's an odd number, but I'm pinching every penny that I can. I'm coming up with every dollar that I can for this deal to get as close to the number you just gave me, because I know that's your number. But if I come up to 372, 720, get this done, can we open up escrow today? Do we have a deal? You know what, Ryan? I like you. It sounds like you're spending your every last dollar on this deal. Yeah, let's do it. 372, 720. Okay, great. So you can see how having a dynamic script that is pulling from your deal analysis is great, and it makes it easy to have a conversation with a seller on the phone and pitch them price on the fly like that. And again, this 346 number, that's coming from your initial cash offer price, right? Brilliant, right? And then the 372, that's your max cash offer price. Again, you can switch back. Let's see if I do that here. So yeah, see it switches back here, and it's pulling from all of this. So, okay, moving on. How to write and submit your cash offer without seeing the property and never overpay. So, you need to generate a purchase and sale agreement. I'm going to show you how to do that in a very automated, paperless way right here in FlipLogic. But in order to do that, you're going to need to input, some terms, right? There's really only about 7 points that you need to put in there. Your purchase price, right? We've already gone over how to determine that. Your earnest money deposit. You could always start with $100. Deposit's always negotiable. Start with as little as you can, or whatever you can swing, $100, $500, $1,000, 1% max. And then the deposit is due, it's boilerplated to be due, I believe, in 3 business days. But you can always change that, whether it's 3 or 5 business days. Obviously, the more time you have to put in the deposit, the better. 7 to 14 day on your inspection period, also known as your contingency. So this keeps your earnest money deposit refundable and gives you time to market the deal. You really want to find a buyer during that inspection period. A 14 to 30 day closing period. All other contingencies removed to strengthen your offer. Buyer pays all closing costs except commissions. If you're dealing with off-market properties, there's not going to be any commissions or realtors involved anyways. And then buyer's choice of title and escrow or closing attorney services. If you're paying for the services, you might as well pick them out so you can control those costs, because every service provider charges different rates. And never, ever, ever, ever remove or go beyond your inspection period, because that's going to put you in a position where you're hard or non-refundable on your deposit. You do not want to do that until you have secured a non-contingent offer from a cash buyer. Now, Ryan, what if I don't have a cash buyer who's ready to go non-contingent and wire a deposit yet, and I'm approaching the end of my inspection period? Well, you've got 2 choices. Number one, you can request to extend the inspection period. And you're going to need a good reason in order to do that. The second would just be to cancel. No harm, no foul, walk away from the deal. If you haven't found a buyer who's interested in your deal within 7 days, either 1, you didn't market the deal, or 2, it's overpriced, or 3, there's something very inherently wrong with the deal to not gain any interest in it, and you should walk away from it anyway. So that's really what you want to do. Either 1, cancel the deal, or 2, extend. If you need to extend because it took some time to get some buyers over there, you had to do a price reduction and send it back out to get somebody over there, and now you've got some people interested, they're working up their numbers, then great, that's one thing. But if it's just crickets, then you just need to cut the deal and cancel it and get your deposit back. Hope that makes sense. That will prevent you from overpaying for a deal, or buying a dud, or getting stuck with a property. Okay, so let's watch a short video. This video is going to go over how to generate proof of funds, which we talked about on the first slide, how to generate offers, how to generate pro formas, which is basically like an ROI analysis with all the costs and your return on investment that you can generate in Flip Logic, and then it'll attach it to the marketing email that you blast out to cash buyers. Pretty slick. It's really awesome to have, and also to be able to look over yourself. Maybe you're going to rehab the deal. This will really give you the details of how all the costs break down, and then the CMA and any other miscellaneous documents. So without further ado, I'll play the video.
My name is James Utterback, and I'll be showing you how to generate documents in this video. So here's our Documents button. But first, we'll come over here to our Actions. As you can see, there's quite a few different options here. First, we're going to want to generate our profit analysis. Select that, and you can see it's auto-filled. We determined repair costs in a previous video. We need to know if it's occupied so we can get a better timeline on when to close. Select Generate Analysis, and it'll ask if you need to overwrite it. Since we don't have one, we can just go ahead and select Yes. Okay. Next, we're going to want to generate our CMA report. The CMA is a comparative analysis of property comps in the area that have recently sold. We don't have one yet either, so we'll go ahead and select Yes. Okay. Next, we're going to want to generate our proof of funds. We're going to enter our name. Your company name. If you don't have a company name, just type NA because it is a field that needs to be filled in. The email address, property info type, if it's a residential or commercial, select that. For now, we'll just type in 300,000 for this. And then the letter type. Since we don't have a company in there, we'll just go with name only and select that. Please read and approve this before you select this box down here. Once you selected the box, you can submit it. And it'll be sent to your downloads folder on your computer. You can show it in the folder, go to your document section, and select upload new document. Grab the proof of funds and drag and drop it in. Since our proof of funds isn't right in here, we can just mark this as other and select upload. It'll then include it in the documents area. Next, we're going to want to generate our contract. Please see our other videos in regards to these other property agreements. We're going to want to use the nationwide sale and purchase one for this one. And then select e-sign. We can enter custom values here or select the drop-down tab. We select the drop-down tab, scroll down, and include the lead address. You're going to want the lead address, the buyer name, the purchase price, the close of escrow days, and the initial deposit. The initial deposit will be 1%. 1% can be used as a negotiating point to go upwards of 3%. First, you want to start at 1% though. The contingency removal days is important because that'll be the inspection period. Please be sure to put that in. We like to typically do 5 to 7 business days for our inspections. Be sure to have your close of escrow days either a little over the inspection period so we can have time to inspect the property. The escrow company and the title company, those can be left as seller's choice as that'll be easiest to get through this form faster. If there are other terms you've come to agreement on with the selling agent or the seller, please be sure to include them in one of these areas. The date will be the day that it's been generated. And then you select the continue button and it'll autofill everything in for you. Since we don't have a document, this came up. Next, the fetch public records. That would be used to determine if the public records have been properly fetched or not. Please be sure to use that button if there's been an error with fetching public records and it hasn't come up automatically. Let us know if you have any more questions. Thanks. Have a good one.
All right. Pretty cool.
My name's
So that's how you can generate, all and we've got multiple documents in there. Your amendments, if you need to amend any terms to your purchase contracts, cancellations, cash for keys, etc. So now I want to show you how to build a cash buyers list and email blast your deals with those reports on there. So I'm going to play another short video so you understand how to do that.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to be showing you how to do a marketing blast for your property. So first, you'll go to your properties that are under contract. If you need to move a property that you've obtained under contract, under the lead details on the property that you have, you just go to the status, and you can change it from new lead to under contract. And then if you would like, you can move it to deal partnering for us to go ahead and do the blast for you. Or if you'd like to use our marketing list. So here I have it marked under contract. I'm going to go ahead and go over to the marketing tab. So first we'll have our property blurb. I've already put one in here. We'll double check our variables. And this is also where you can insert pictures. You can see there's a picture right here. I can go ahead and select a new image from my image documents that I've loaded in. I'm going to go ahead and stick with this one here. Okay. This will help you double check your numbers, square footage, return on investment, holding time, et cetera, et cetera. This is all imported in from your analyze that you've already done in a previous video. We'll go over here to the next message. This is where we can put in our subject line. Next, we'll check our documents. In this section, we have the photos, the other documents. One is the survey for the land and the approval for permits to do a lot split. Next, we'll go to the preview. This is what it'll look like when somebody gets the email message. It'll have a breakdown, the comp survey, and then the comps. Next, we'll go to the next tab, Find Buyers. From here, we can determine which buyers we would want to use. If we want to send to a certain selected amount or to send to the whole list. Next, if you want, you can determine by location. Example, if they're in LA or San Diego or any local city, your buyers may be located in. If you don't have any buyers, you can go to the Find Instant Cash Buyers and Lenders. Next, we'll determine what we are looking for. So we're looking for cash, buyer, and be sure to select this bottom drop and then enter the city. Los Angeles, California, and search. And it'll start populating these for you. And once you click them, you can actually import them, or you can send it directly to that person on this buyer's list. You can add them right here by selecting Add to My Contacts. Once you have them added in, you go back to your buyers and then select Send to All. Please let us know if you have any other questions, and be sure to check out our other videos.
What I will add to that is you'll notice the keyword selection that he used. He just put in cash buyer, right? And so he got some random results that came in there with it. You want to be more specific, and there will be some suggestions as you start typing. It will auto suggest suggestions like, we buy houses, cash buyer for houses, single family home, cash buyer, single family home rehabber. So things like that, just to get more specific results. And then you can do what he said, which is, select and add them to your buyers list right away. Obviously, having a good verified email is what is going to make your list so strong, and obviously developing relationships. So my suggestion would be to click on those, because those will be links to their websites as well. Click on them, look them up, make sure that they're somebody that's local, they look like a good reputable buyer in your area. Pick up the phone, call them, connect with them, get a hold of whoever's in charge of acquisitions over there, introduce yourself, get an idea of what they're looking for, what kind of margins they're looking for, and then get their email address and add them to your list. And in that way, you've got a good, solid cash buyer and a relationship on your email list that you can blast to. So I hope that helps further fill that in. So now that you've done all of this, you're pretty much at the home stretch. You've got a business in a box, literally. You're ready to go. So let's talk about how to scale up from there. So you want to do that by building a large list of motivated sellers and marketing to them every month. So a list of motivated sellers, and these are some list types that you can use. Out-of-state absentee owners, that's one of my favorites, because you're going to get inheritance and heirs involved with that, and also you're going to get burnt out landlords, people who have been living, away from these properties, and they just become motivated. So I love dealing with absentee owners. So out-of-state absentee owners, vacant properties, death certificate, probate, notice of default, notice of trustee sale, divorce, eviction, property tax default, estate sale, bankruptcy. So these are several list types that you can use, and then you can filter them down further with more criteria, like 40% equity, 60% loan to value, to free and clear. So these would be high equity. So if they have 40% equity to 100% equity, that's good. 60% loan to value to 0% loan to value is what you're looking for. That's going to be high equity, free and clear. Single family residences, older housing stock, right? Older homes, 20 years or older. Again, the minimum square foot size, minimum bed bathroom size, good neighborhoods, zip codes with good school districts, if you can filter down for that. So I'm going to actually show you how you can build a list in Flip Logic, and then how you can skip trace that list once you've built it. And now once you have a skip trace list of motivated sellers, you can now market to that list. And I'm going to show you how to market to that list in mass by doing a direct mail campaign and then by doing a ringless voicemail campaign. So let's watch this short video on how to build and skip trace a motivated seller list.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to be showing you how to find motivated sellers. So here we are on our dashboard, and we have this tab of functions over here on our left. We're going to go to our instant leads, and then we have a few other videos describing what these functions do. But right now, we're going to come down here to our verified motivated sellers. Next, we'll select our state. I'm in California, so I'm going to select California. Next, we're going to go ahead and you can select multiple cities here and then filter them accordingly to what you want for each city. For now, I'm going to go ahead and select Baldwin Park. And then once you're done selecting these, you may need to scroll back up to hit this next tab under the states. Once that's clicked, it'll load this next area, and then we're going to filter out what we want. So here we have a couple of different options in here. We're going to go with owner occupied. We don't want to deal with any absentee owners that may have properties with renters in them due to the state of the economy right now. So we'll stick with just owner occupied. Next, we're going to go to our property filters. We're going to click on that, and then our property type. There's a couple different options here. I'll just pull down here on the list, and you can see what they may be. The best bet to go for right now, we're going to go for single family homes. I'm going to select that, and then just click outside of the drop down area to get it to pull back up. Next, we're going to put in our bed count, 3, and bath count, 2. Year built. We're going to want something kind of older, so we'll go from 2000 to 1900. Square footage, We'll make it a median size home, which is about 2,000 or anything lower than that. Next, we're going to have our lot square footage, which would be about 5,000, which is another median. Click and pull down. And then when was the sale date on these homes? When were they last sold? And we're going to go ahead and go to 2,000 because we're going to want homes with equity in them because it'll make it easier to negotiate with the sellers. We're going to do the full year of 2,000. Okay. Next, we're going to come up and hit the view count button. As you can see, it's starting to load the results. So we have 300 results, and I'm going to go ahead and purchase this list. Yes, I want to buy. Okay. Next, we can go ahead and skip trace this list, which will give you all of the addresses, home information, or cell phone information for these homes. So we're going to buy the list with skip trace, and it'll take 1 credit per record. I have 300, so I have just enough here. All right, and that's done. Well, almost. It's doing the loading thing. Once this is done, it should be sent to your email. Complete. Please let us know if you have any other questions and stay tuned to our next video.
Okay, so you can see that's how you can build a list, skip trace it, it'll email it to you, and now once you have that list, you can now market to that list. And whether it's that list or you have another list that you've pulled, you can upload any list, any CSV list into FlipLogic to use the ringless voicemail and direct mail, and we're going to go into that here real quickly. So getting motivated sellers to call you, a direct mail campaign to off-market houses is one of the best ways to get your phone to ring with hot, high-quality, motivated seller leads. Because direct mail is very targeted. Once they get it, it's pretty exclusive if it's an off-market deal, which that's what we're going for. So those are going to be exclusive, off-market with little to no competition. One of the most exciting phone calls you can get is phone calls from your direct mail campaign from sellers who have fixer off-market houses. There's truly nothing more exciting in real estate than an off-market deal. So from one of your direct mail campaigns. So what direct mail pieces and services should you use? Well, you can use a proven handwritten style letter or postcard. We have a few. You've seen some in a prior video here. I'm going to show you how to do that with a larger list. But those are proven, especially once you use the 1-888 brand. I mean, your closing ratios, your conversion ratios are going to go way up from using this. It's the greatest. So postcards do have a 100% open rate, and they cost less than a letter. So that's a good way to go if you're trying to save some money and work a campaign. You can use our direct mail campaign. Again, you can build a list or you can upload a mailing list. And then this way, the third-party print production, third-party postage, and third-party mail out will all be done for you with literally a couple of clicks. This way you can focus on high-income revenue-generating activities because you really should outsource what you can automate or pay someone else $5 or $15 an hour to do just as well. All right. So that's how you should be thinking about your business is what are revenue generating activities? That's what you should be working on. Next, you want to mail a minimum of 250 to 2,000 pieces. I would say minimum. If you can do larger campaigns, great, because you want to get your phone ringing. The more people you touch, the more leads you're going to get. and you want to hit your list, I would say on average, statistically, you want to hit it 3 to 8 times. So mail to your list 3 to 8 times. And as far as the frequency goes, you want to do it over a 6 to 8 week period, or maybe once every 2 weeks. And you should get a 1 to 10% response rate. All right. So it's going to vary, just depends on the list, but that's the response rate you should be thinking about. So I'm going to play this short video on how to send a direct mail campaign. So let's watch that video.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to be showing you how to do a direct mail campaign. So select direct mail. Next, you're going to go to choose file. You're going to select your file, open. Next, we're going to choose our template in which we want to use. So for now, we have customizable ones, but the template drafts that we have for selection are very good. The difference between the two, the letter to the seller, it's going to draft and look the same right here, but this will come in a manila envelope, handwritten, and you can, it'll cost a little bit more. But if you want to edit the details here, you can go ahead and edit the details, and then you can change out those details and then select create letter. Okay, and for one letter campaign, it'll charge 15 credits and it'll arrive in 4 to 6 business days. Okay. The other option that we have here, I'll have to reload this real quick. The other option is a postcard, and the postcard costs a little bit less, looks very similar, but there's no manila envelope on it. Once again, you can edit the details here to replace your name, address, et cetera, et cetera. And then you're going to select create postcard. Okay. It costs 10 credits for this, a little bit cheaper, does relatively the same thing. If you're unable to get a phone number, this is a great option for you to use in order to reach a seller. Okay. Please stay tuned for other videos and be sure to communicate with us if you have any questions. Thanks and have a good day.
Okay, so now we know how to launch a direct mail campaign. So now let's talk about ringless voicemail, also known as RVM. So this really does make for the ultimate follow-up to your direct mail campaign, and or could even replace it. Now, I will say, when you skip trace a motivated seller list, right, you're only going to get a certain percentage of phone numbers that are going to be good phone numbers. So let's just say you pull a 2,000 piece list and only 50% of those have good phone numbers. Well, half of your list, you're not going to be able to send a ringless voicemail to. So just doing an RVM campaign, you're going to have a hole there in your marketing. So what you may want to do is pull a list, skip trace it. Obviously, you only get charged per successful skip trace found, and then mail to your whole list, and then do a follow-up campaign to that list. So then that way, you're touching. It's a warm phone call follow-up because they already got a direct mail piece from you. It's a warm phone call follow-up, and then this way it's a good combination with your marketing. So it's a good two-prong approach. Again, imagine, and it's so efficient. Why make 10,000 cold calls when you can send 10,000 pre-recorded voice messages instantly? That's a no-brainer. It's cost-effective because it saves you time, whether it's your time or you're paying somebody to make these outbound phone calls. That's going to save you a ton of cost. It only charges you per successful connection, and it's pennies per call. So it's a no-brainer. Definitely, you should be using this. Again, if you want to use it as a standalone, you can. If you want to use it as a follow-up, that would be a really good idea too. So you're going to get a ratio, as with anything. Maybe 10%, I would say, are going to be interested, and then the other 90%, you're going to get a lot of people who say, how did you get my number, or I'm not interested, or take me off your list. So we're going to talk about how to take these inbound calls next, right? Because you're going to get a lot, as with any marketing, you're going to get a lot of no's. So here's how it works. You upload a voice message in FlipLogic, and you save it to your manage audio files. You upload your list of motivated sellers. Again, this could be any .csv list of phone numbers. This can work with cash buyers, private lenders, whoever you want to market to. This marketing method is interchangeable. So, and then you set up a time for your campaign to be broadcasted, and bing, bada boom, you get a flood of phone calls. So let's talk about, well, I guess before we talk about that, I want to play this short video so you can see how to launch your ringless voicemail campaign and get your phone ringing today if you want to. Meanwhile, I'm going to sit here and drink my spin drink.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do a marketing campaign. So here we are at our dashboard, and we come over here to our tabs, select marketing. We have two options here. So first we'll go with ringless voicemail. Select that. And what it does is you're going to create a new recording so you can send it out, and it'll go past the ringer on phones and deliver directly to voicemail. So what you're going to want to do first is create a new recording, and the phone will ring for you to record based on your account information of what phone number you have in there. So it'll sound something along the lines of, hi, my name's James Utterback. I work with a private real estate investor and am looking to buy, fix, and flip homes in your general area. We're interested in the home that you have there, and we're fast, easy on offers and quick closings. It'll sound something generally like that. You may want to play it back a few times to get something within I would say 15 to 30 second time window, just because the faster it is, the better. And then what you're going to do next is when you create your new recipient list, you'll download the sample list. I'll go ahead and do that now so you can have an idea of what it looks like. And these are all going to be skip traced numbers that you've already done or pulled. And you can just go ahead and have the phone number. You can copy paste your phone number and insert it, and then file save as, so you can select your upload file and then obviously name it something. Okay, and then you'll go to create new campaign name, displayed to target user. So this would be your phone number, or you can use a Google number if you don't want to use your private phone number. And you just go to Google, go to apps, phone numbers, and then you can select a Google phone number. And then you'll select your audio recording that you've previously recorded, and then add your recipients list. That would be a list that you've already went ahead and uploaded and saved. And then you'd create the campaign and start it, and it would cost X amount of credits for how many ever phone numbers you have on there. Okay. Next, we're going to go to the direct mail campaign. You want to upload a mailing list if you have one. That would be, again, something you've skip traced. You have addresses and names. We'll download the sample file here so you can have an idea of what we're looking at. Okay, so it's got the first name, last name. You can merge these, or there's a way called concatenate. You can look up on YouTube, or you can separate them. And then you have the street, city, state, zip, et cetera, et cetera. This here would be for a mailing address. And then the site address is the subject property. And you can tell when you skip trace whether that'll be a mailing address, if there's a mailing address, and that's where you're going to want to put your mailing address in right here. Okay. If there's in the skip trace, if it's all in one column for this, I would say go ahead and erase this last name portion. So then it's all, one function here. And so the thing so the program doesn't get mixed up with this last name portion. Okay. And then next, you'll select choose file. It will go to your downloads area. For now, we'll just go ahead with our sample file here. And then we have customizable letters and postcards. I'll go ahead and show you what the postcard looks like. This is basically what it'll look like when it's done. On the other side of the postcard, it'll have, their name and address. You can go ahead and edit the details, and it would change your name, address, et cetera here. And then when you select create postcard, what it'll do is it'll tell you how much it's going to charge for one postcard. So about 10 credits. Okay. Postcards are going to be a little bit cheaper than a customizable letter or a regular letter. A regular letter will have a nice manila envelope. It'll be printed on yellow and blue paper, blue lined paper. So it's fairly nice, and I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. It'll look the same in the this program here, but that's how it comes out. I'm showing you this here for the reason of it being a little bit different. You can also edit details here. And the difference is the price on how much it's going to cost. So this one costs a little bit more, but it comes out just a little bit better. Results for both are about the same. So that's how you set up a direct mail campaign and ringless voicemail messages. Please stay tuned for other videos.
All right. So that's how
Hi, my name.
we get that done. Now, getting ready for motivated sellers to call you. When I first got started, yes, I took all the phone calls myself. But after that, I then started delegating those calls to other members of my team. I believe you should too. So it's up to you. And this is how you can do it. So you've got your 1-888 cash offer extension, right? Your assigned extension number. So that's already on your postcards, your direct mail, your letters. You can, again, have those ring to your cell phone, or you can have those forward to, maybe somebody at Pat Live, or you can put your a Google Voice number in there, and again, you could forward that to whatever you want to forward it to. Someone on your team, a live call center, again, like Pat Live or VoiceNation.com. Those are places where they charge. I think they charge a pretty nominal cost by the minute, where somebody will take the call and then they can fill out the online lead sheet, and the online lead sheet can be your Sell Now page on your website. So once they fill that out with the person on the phone, that then pops into your pipeline under My Site Leads. And that's what it looks like there. So it's going to, under your pipeline, you've got a section called My Site Leads. So any lead that comes in through your website is going to show up there. So again, if the phone calls, the Google Voice number on the caller ID for ringless voicemail, so you don't get the 90% of bad calls, you have a call center or somebody that you hire on your team take all those calls. They deal with the 90% of the bad calls, which you don't have to get burnt out taking those calls. The 10% that are good, they have that conversation with them. They fill out the lead intake form on your website. Boom, it pops in here to your website. You get a notification, and you've got a deal to, again, comp it, analyze it, pitch price, submit the offer, inspect it and close it. Or, have the cash buyer inspect it, obviously, and then you close it. So I suggest you do that. I think you should do it for your sanity. But again, if you don't mind doing, putting in some more sweat equity and you want to take those calls, then by all means, please do. So that's that. I'm going to show you, this is, I believe, our last video. And this is a very simple short video on how to create that website, which it will auto-populate for you when you sign up for FlipLogic.
Hi, my name is James Utterback, and I'm going to go ahead and show you how to do your website. So here we are at our dashboard, and we have our website builder over here in our left nav panel. Go ahead and click on that. And we're going to have some information we're going to swap out here. It's going to be your name and then your phone number, your address here, and then, you can put in your phone number here as well. Phone number goes here. You can change the logo or add the video if you want to, but I'm just going to switch screens here real quick. This is an example page that's been done. It will have the logo here for you if you want to use the 888 cash offer logo and this nice video here. If you want to check out the video, please see the website itself, and you can see what kind of video we have in there on a fix and flip. You pull down and you can see it's got the name here, Ryan Kirk, and get paid. And then, we have contact info here kind of in a bleeded section, or down here just below in the contact us area real quick. To get all that, all you need to do is click and type in your info. And then, your reference link would be the reference name of your link. And then, once you hit the publish, the website will go live, so you can link it into your email addresses if you like. And be sure to see the account area to go ahead and include your phone number, the reference here, and then, if you want an extension, we can go ahead and help set that up with you. Okay, so please stay tuned for our next video and let us know if you have any questions.
So pretty simple. So guys, that concludes my masterclass. I don't have any big, pricey, expensive upsell for you. If you've already signed up for FlipLogic Gold, awesome. Welcome to the FlipLogic family. If you haven't, I'm making this all available for you for $97 a month. So this is literally your business in a box. You get everything. We originally had this at $300 a month, $297, and I'm doing it as a special offer. I want to make this such a no-brainer that anybody who's on the fence can see that the value that this system creates way exceeds the price of $97 a month. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say other than I hope you love it. If you don't love it, it's a 14-day money-back guarantee. Just send us an email at support@fliplogic.com and let us know you want to cancel and you want a refund. No harm, no foul. Other than that, I mean, if you love what you see, and I hope you already have it. If you haven't, please sign up and welcome to the FlipLogic family. I want to fund your deals. I want to deal partner with you. If you want to just put deals under contract and assign them and, be on your own, all the power to you. That's awesome too. I was like that when I got started, just getting deals, funded here and there when I had huge margins that I wanted to keep confidential. Then, I would double close it, and I would use funding from my mentor, my private lender, for those. So I hope to be that for you. I hope to be your mentor for life. I hope to be your deal partner for life. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to use the chat with us button in the bottom right-hand corner on the FlipLogic screens. Or, send us an email anytime at support@fliplogic.com. We'd be happy to, answer any questions that you have. Again, I don't know how long we'll keep it at this price. I mean, we're doing this as like a special offer and a special launch. FlipLogic is something that I've been using and developing for years with the 1-888 cash offer Vanity Brand. And, now it's time for me to, hand over the keys to the kingdom, hand over the keys to the Ferrari to you. So, I can create more synergy and do more deals by us working together in more markets. So I hope this is your new home. I hope that you see something here that is just going to unlock your potential. And if so, I couldn't be more thrilled. I'm so glad that we got to connect, and I appreciate you. And if you're watching the end of this, I mean, you are somebody who's serious, you're dedicated, and I look forward to hearing about your results. So thanks for watching, and I look forward to hearing about your future successes. You're only one deal away.